the well, it's not even a lockdown. It's for the lift up, the daily lift up. Today, super excited to have you here. You're wondering what could the topic be? And I'll tell you, we don't know. I don't know. I'm wondering too. But it's going to come from one of these 3 books of mine that I've written. What am I in the mood for today? You know what? Let's go with the one that's brand new, out on the market. The full book. I hope you love this. If you don't have your copy yet, please do. So essentially, this book is about, take back your weekends. And people say, well, I don't work weekends. You know what? It doesn't matter when you work. My goal is to help you interrupt the patterns that cause stress when you do work so that you can free your capacity, get even more done, and just love your life a little bit more. So that's my hope for you, and living a more optimistic life. So let's go through this book. Let's pull it, and I'm going to go from the back, and I don't even know where we're going to end. If I'll close my eyes and I'll just go, what about right there? Is that good? Unless we've already done it. By the way, I'd love to hear, how are you doing today? How are you doing today? It is about emotionally detaching from your to-do list. What a great thing to do. Okay. We can talk about this. And actually, it makes a lot of sense. It's a great one to discuss because next Wednesday for the Better Business Bureau, I'm going to be doing a 20-minute segment that will be planned, and I'll have slides and all of that on emotionally detaching from your to-do list. So why is this so incredibly important? Well, if our emotions, if our confidence, if the way we operate our lives is dependent on how well we're managing all the things that need to get done, then when things slip, or when there's a lot of work on your plate, like just a lot of things on your plate at that moment, you're at risk. You're going to get pulled in a whole bunch of different directions. And so if we are emotionally attached to that, then, and I know it, I know people who, I've worked with business owners who are like, okay, there are problems. I got all these obstacles I got to deal with, and I got to get this done and this done and this done. And they're like buzzy. And I've been there, by the way. I know, I recognize it in myself. And so, they're just buzzy and like, oh, I got so much to do. I'm busy, 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 busy. And that's not an enjoyable way to live our lives. Who's with me? Right? Like, it just is not. And the thing is, and then you have to wait for the work to slow down to actually feel in the groove, to actually feel like you can work on the things that are the most important in your life. Just so many stories. And actually this fits really well into the Scary Sundays that we talked about on Monday, and that I'm doing the weekly Instagram post about. I do 30-second tips each and every day on Instagram. And, that the Scary Sundays is because we're emotionally attached to things that need to get done, or worried about the future that we don't know how it's going to unfold, or right? Like, so this piece. So how do we emotionally attach? Detach, not attach. Gosh, that would be awful. To get even more attached to this shit, you got to get done. Okay. And here's why I think this is also important, is because, so first of all, you have no stability in your mood, as I've already discussed. Also because this is where guilt comes from, like work-related guilt. And I remember I was talking with one of my clients who, she just was so upset because she's like, when I'm with my family, I feel guilty because I'm not getting the work done. It doesn't matter how much I work, I can't get caught up. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. Like, the idea of expecting your to-do list and to actually end, the idea of chasing the never-ending completion of all the things you have to do is a misguided, completely unattainable goal. Now, you can make your list smaller. right? Like I only have 3 things on my list, so yes, I can do that. And actually I play that game some days. I'm like, okay, these are the 3 things that are important that I need to get done, and then I get them done. But I'm talking about the full Monty. Everything you got to do. But here's the thing, when we do 1 or 2 of them, then inevitably 3 or 4 or 10 other things go on the list. That's the nature of doing our work. Right? So if we're chasing this thing that we think is going to end and it's never actually going to get to a point where it can end, because if it ends, we're out of business, we're out of, just don't have anything left to do, then we'd be bored out of our minds. James, good to have you here. Yes, I am great. Thank you. I'm excited to be on the lockdown lift up, which isn't even the lockdown. It's now the daily lift up. So I'll have to say that a little bit better. Okay. What am I talking about? Emotionally detaching from our to-do list and the importance of that. So that guilt of this is playing in the back of your mind, that's what I'm afraid about for people, is because it's like it's always on your mind. Oh, I got to get that done. I got to get that done. I got to get that done. And that means you aren't trusting and enjoying and immersed in the present moment. And that is where a lot of our joy from our lives gets taken, right? So what else are we going to talk about the to-do list? Oh yeah. So I don't actually call it a to-do list. I call it a task circle, because then at least you're not expecting it to end. You know, it's going to keep going round and round and round and round. And that's my hope for you. But obviously within this chapter, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to some of the coaching questions at the back of this little chapter. And here I'm going to ask you these questions. Is your mood influenced by how well you're managing your to-do list? And if so, in what ways? It all starts down with situational awareness, self-awareness, understanding that emotional connection. Are you short with people? Are you angry or irritable or don't have time or frustrated, or just like that Sunday scaries where you're just getting anxious because I got so much to do. I got so much to do. Like that is just stealing your ability to do what you're actually doing, right? Next question. Do you trust your task tracking system, or does remembering tasks drain your capacity? This is so important. The most stressed clients I have ever worked with are the ones who don't actually have a proactive task tracking system. And I was talking to one of the reviewers on my book. So if you haven't seen any reviews on it, like there's tons on Instagram, they're popping up every day. It's sort of getting into the system where people are like reviewing it. And she gave me a 4.2 out of a 5. And I was like, oh, like, how did I only get a 4.2? And, like, it doesn't really matter for the record, but I asked. And she said, the whole idea around the task circle, she says, I already have a system that works for me. And it just, that part of the book. And she's like, to me, that seems pretty common sensey. And I'm like, yeah, you'd think, right? However, I have literally worked with incredibly successful people who are incredibly stressed, and specifically it shows up because at night when their head hits the pillow, their mind goes into high gear. Have you ever done that? It's like it just, I'm completely in this. I got to remember to do this. Oh, and I got to do that. And oh, I got to call that person. And oh, I forgot to send that email. And, you're just playing that game. Well, sleep is hard enough to get, let alone chasing the ability to remember what we have to get done. And so if you don't have a system that legitimately, effectively captures all of the tasks you need to do, then you are setting yourself up for a risk of increased stress, right? You just are, because it's your brain is in the back of your mind, kind of like wheeling all the time. Okay, got to do this, got to do that, got to do this, got to do that. Oh, and then I got to do this. or some sort of a, like if it's in my email, like I've worked with people who've used their email as their to-do list. Like if it's in my email, I got to get it done. That's not an effective use of your time, I don't think, searching through long-winded emails to find the tasks, right? So just have a system. So in this book, I'm asking you, do you have a system that works? Something that you trust? And if you do, then awesome. Keep doing it. Embrace it. And that's only one little piece of the book, like with regard to the solution piece. But it's, if you don't, I'm going to encourage you, read this, revisit, like look and see, is that the way I want to do it? Or is there another alternative that will really work for me? So I think that's all I'm going to say on that today. Keep this one short and snappy. And I just love getting to come on here live with you each day. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to get my hair cut and I'm going into the city. I'm going to the dentist. What else am I doing? I got a bunch of stuff to do and I'm super excited about it. So I don't know if I'll be live. I got to test if I can go live remotely. And I may just upload something, a little surprise for you. If I can't go live, I'll do that. Just a little lift up. Monday through Thursday, 3:15 p.m. Don't forget, get a copy of your book. Take back your weekend, stress less, do more, be happier. And even if you don't work the weekends, it's all right. It's not about when you work, it's about how you work. And I'm trying to inspire people to just be a little more optimistic and happier and a little less complicated in our day-to-day. Life is complicated enough, let's face it. All right. Thank you for being here. Can't wait to see you in the next live lift up. Bye.